when I was an infant, my mother, I have a memory, a beautiful memory of my mother taking me to the park behind the Parliament buildings in Ottawa, Canada, where I was born. And she gave me a handful of hard popcorn kernels, and I fed the pigeons. And they came and they, that was my first experience of them nibbling at my little hand. And my mother was giggling, and so it wasn't like a belly laugh, but she was so thrilled that I was reacting kind of probably a little bit shocked, but excited and squealing with the birds, that she picked me up and wheeled me around in her arms, laughing and with so much joy. So that's a gentle reaction. I remember experiencing great humor because my father, who was born in 1913, used to play films for us on his reel to reel in the basement of my childhood home in Ottawa. And he loved Charlie Chaplin, of course, the great dictator, since, my parents were Jewish Holocaust survivors. I feel a very strong connection to them, even though they, have since passed on quite some time ago. But, and so my father and I would enjoy laughing together. As far as my knowledge of knowing that I was able to make people laugh, I only remember that when I was a little girl, I sometimes liked, I automatically found what was funny. I believe it's in our DNA. And my father would often get triggered, unfortunately, by something, and it didn't come out the way that I liked. For example, when I was approximately 9 years old, my little brother and I went to the department store to buy my father a present for Father's Day, or maybe it was his birthday. I can't remember right now. Anyway, I saw I don't know if you remember, but they used to have these porcelain toilets, these miniature toilets. And if you push the handle, an actual head popped out of the toilet bowl. And this one had a sign and it said, "Goodbye, cruel world." And I thought it was ridiculous. I mean, I grew up with Carol Burnett and Billy Crystal and all this kind of sticky comedy. It was hysterical to me. So I convinced my little brother, who did not think it was such a good idea because of the toilet presentation, and knowing that my parents were very, very, very conservative in terms of, they were, Eastern European, old-fashioned Jews. Both my parents were originally Orthodox Jewish. And so they had that very, you have to behave in a certain way. Anyway, fast forward, we wrapped it up. We had it wrapped, rather, gave it to my father for I believe it was his birthday. And he opened it up. And unfortunately, it triggered his memory of having tried to commit suicide at Dunkirk in the English Channel when he was a medic. And he had, joined the French army after escaping from Vienna. This is a long story, but I will just cut to the chase, which is he had tried to commit suicide, and it triggered some of the guilt and the post-traumatic stress disorder that he harbored. He got very angry and irate with me. So this contributed to my sense of humor, unfortunately being dampened and being kind of constricted and messed with for an awfully long time. So it wasn't really, Ray, until I was, in my, I guess, early 20s, when I started doing stand-up comedy. I also auditioned for Second City in Toronto, and they were really excited about me because when I let go of self-consciousness, I blew them away. I was, I think, early 20s or maybe even younger than that. And they wanted me in their touring company right away. And I was told by them that they never do this. And I was really excited. But then, because I had been so programmed to believe that showing the truth of who I was could get me and my family killed. And in my case, of course, that first stemmed from the truth of my being Jewish. And then it permeated down into all this other PTSD, anxiety, shame stuff. I became emotionally paralyzed when I actually went to, a bigger audition with more people there for Second City. And I wasn't able to be myself because I was watching myself. It was like my editor was with me. So not for many decades until I did a lot of self-therapy, and really I had some wonderful therapists, some crazy therapists too, but I also, my therapy on wheels was performing internationally, my solo shows about my family, and also stand up for decades, because telling the truth of who I was and getting this sublime reaction from thousands and thousands of people was highly healing in my case. The complete antithesis of being told that I would be killed for, exposing the truth of myself. So that's a long answer, but there you go.